I'm going to give you an overview today of one of my favorite adult series that I currently read, and is the Hannah Swanson series by Joanne Fuca. This book series has 18 books in it, and I know you're saying, oh, Laura, that is such a time commitment. And it is. But they are very, very quick reads, and I really liked it, especially when I started going to grad school. They were so easy, and I'm really looking for another series like it that's just easy to read and easy to get through. Just it's kind of like mind-numbing almost. But I really liked it. I thought the world building is its biggest trait, especially in the start of the book. I thought the mysteries were super weak, and I know, like, as a mystery series, that's sometimes a very, very important key. But I thought the world building was so strong that it kind of offsetted it. Like, it didn't make it as obvious. But if you just judge these books just by mysteries, especially the first few, I could see people getting super frustrated with it and just quitting. But I recommend you plow through, you read them all, because the last 3 books in the series are really, really good. Those are probably my favorite. And I know people say, well, the love triangle is so unrealistic. But again, they're addicting. You want to know what's going to happen. You want to know what happened to the characters. The characters are so loved, and like I could not wait to read more. So now that I'm finally completed with the series, I'm going to give you an overview of the entire series and basically what's it about, what my favorite books are, what were my least favorite books, stuff like that, to give you guys a little bit more thoughts. If you want more in-detail thoughts, again, just let me know. And if you want, I can do spoiler reviews on any of them if you want them. Just let me know. But I know that this is a little bit out of my wheelhouse because I normally focus on young adult literature, but I really just fell in love with this series just because of the titles of them. They're all based around desserts. So the premise is about this young woman. Her name's Hannah Swanson, and she runs a bakery in a town in Minnesota. And she winds up finding all these dead bodies, or being interconnected with all these dead bodies. And she winds up solving all these murder mysteries before the cops, and sometimes in fighting with the cops about that. And it's a super interesting, compelling series. The world building is super, super strong, though. Like, I just fell in love with this characters. The town, the world was like another character in and in itself. You kind of knew where the book was going, but like, it's like an old pair of jeans. You just wanted to read the book. You wanted to see what was going to happen. I admit, the first 4 books, I was like, oh my god, I knew who the killer was. I think the most obvious one for me was the blueberry muffin murder. The minute he stepped on that page, I was like, that's the killer. The minute the killer walked on page, I knew who it was. So I think that was a little bit disheartening to me, but I plowed through, and I really, really loved seeing the characters and see how they develop and see how they interact over time. It's basically for the most book, it's a triangle. So there's a very, very prominent triangle in all these 3 books. And then towards the end, it kind of becomes a square. That's a little where I'm hesitating because, like, I don't necessarily want her with that person. But we'll see. Maybe the next book will totally change my mind and I want her. Basically, it's about Hannah, Mike, and Norman. And Norman is a dentist, and Mike is a cop that she fights with a lot. So it's kind of like a love-hate relationship. And then she finds this new guy that's kind of coming in the last section of books. And I'll be intrigued to see what actually happens in that regard. So I'll have to wait to see. But I think one of my favorite books was, I actually have it. Oh, irony. I have is the Devil Food Cake Murder, and the end of this was such a cliffhanger. Like, I had to read the next one. It's so ironic. I actually had a physical copy of this book, and it turned out to be my favorite. But yeah, I was super, super happy with this, and it was a really, really pivotal twist for Norman and Hannah, and I was so excited to see how she rectified it. It was actually really good. My most surprising book in the series was the Red Velvet Cupcake Murder, the murder was not who you thought was going to be murdered in the start of it. Normally the book starts with a murder, and that's kind of what carries through, but it wasn't. That wasn't what it was, and I was intrigued. And then I really also enjoyed the blueberry pie murder and the double fudge brownie murder. And those were the ending too, and they both kind of led into each other. But it had to do with Hannah being involved in a very, very harsh circumstance and kind of what happened and what kind of led her to all these situations. And yeah, I overall, I really, really like the series. So I'm still trying to find another long-term series that's kind of mystery-based. So if you guys have any recommendations that are easy and kind of mind-numbing, let me know. I might read the Sophie Kinsella books or the Emily Griffin books. I know that they're not mysteries, but they're very, very similar, and like they're very, very like easy to read, and you don't really have to think a lot about them. But that is just some of my thought about the Hannah Swanson series. If you guys have any more specific questions or would like to see more about this author, just let me know. But I hope you guys have a very nice day.